What's going on, guys and gals? Chris, the Bonafide Hustler, coming to you live from the inside of my house. And hopefully this is live right now. So I am going to check a couple things and make sure we are good to go. I'm going to open up the chat and I'm going to see also if we have an Instagram feed going as well. So it looks like we do. So there we go. All right. So we have Instagram coming in. We have YouTube coming in. I think we have Facebook coming in as well, all under the Bonafide Hustler stuff. And hopefully on this show, well, I'll just tell you what my goal is on this show. And that is, we turn the new year, it's 2026, and people want to make some healthy things or healthy decisions in their life. Having been in the reselling community now for about, I would say 13 years, my channel is about 13 years old on YouTube. I've been a reseller for over 25 years. Within all those years, I've stayed pretty healthy. I've stayed pretty fit, and it was definitely a priority in my life to always be kind of like a fitness enthusiast, right? And I just so happened, I guess, to become a reseller on the side as well. So if I can shed any amount of information on this show, that's pretty much my goal. We're going to go through a couple things. I have a little note card right here. And these are going to be some things that, if you're suffering from, let's say, joint pain or a little, some excessive pounds, or perhaps you're not strong enough to do everyday tasks anymore, or you find yourself winded up a flight of stairs, or, you just don't have that zest or fervor like you used to. Well, hopefully you can start thinking about some of these tips and perhaps putting them into motion in your life, right? So we're going to wait till people get in here. We have some comments, and I'm going to show some comments as we get them. We have Kevin. Good evening from Lakeland, Florida. It's good to see you, Kevin. And hopefully more people will come in. I don't know how the platforms kind of show that a show is going on or whatever. But this is apparently broadcasted. But I also made the decision 15 minutes ago to do this show. So if we don't have a huge turnout, that's just to be expected. I probably should have done this hours and hours before, but it's all good. So basically in 2026, we really shouldn't be waiting for a new year to do the right things, if you think about it, right? We should always be striving to do the new things or the right things all the time. We shouldn't wait for a Monday or a catalyst or, I'll have this crappy meal tonight, but then tomorrow I'm going to start. We shouldn't really be waiting for the world to give us permission to honor ourselves and to become a healthy, performing, contributing to society human being. And sometimes when we are not of good health or proper health or even par health, like just baseline health, the things that we are capable of just can't get delivered correctly, right? And what often happens is you can feel like you're going through life in circles, or you can start feeling as if there's like a weight being dragged around. You know that you're capable of great things, but you have this thing that's on your mind all the time. And like I said earlier, it could be a joint pain issue. It could be extra pounds. It could be not strong enough, like no zest, no fervor, lack of sleep, or, your mornings are just behind already. You're not doing the right kind of things. And I think when it comes to lifestyle, it's such a big issue that it's impossible to actually contain it in one show, right? So this could be an opportunity for series of these shows. But when we're looking at lifestyle, I like to break it up into kind of like two parts, right? It's lifestyle, sure, but it's also life styled, right? Meaning you style the way that you want your life to go, and your life will be accordingly based upon your plans and your actions. So if you're feeling kind of dumpy and you don't feel so good about your life and whatever, it's every single decision that has been made in the past weeks, days, years have all compounded to where you are right now. The opposite can happen too. So if you're watching the show and you feel like, hey, I think he's kind of like knocking me or whatever, I want to stress that there's an equal force as well on the other side, meaning if you compound great things, then who knows what can come up from that. It's really important to understand, like much like money, compounding interest is one of those things that you can do with fitness, you can do it with lifestyle, but you're going to have to know the components and the big levers to kind of pull to get the greatest return. So in this show, actually on tip number 2, we're going to be going through those top movers and those top levers. If I was to like look at it from a top perspective or like deal with clients, There's definitely some top kind of levers to pull, and there's some smaller and mid-tail levers as well. But we're going to talk about some of the smaller ones, or the big ones, should I say, and then we can kind of taper off to the smaller ones. I really wouldn't worry about too many of the small ones. Like at this point, like, okay, I'm gonna, am I drinking from BPA plastic bottles? Like, I mean, this stuff is it's small in comparison to like the number one or the number three kind of things. Like, are you sleeping right? Are you working out? Are you are you joint pain free? Yeah, so it's kind of crazy to think that those are some of the biggest movers, but it kind of is the biggest movers if you think about it, right? It's going to be your diet, it's going to be your joint pain, it's going to be whether you work out or you don't work out, and it's going to be your sleep. So let's talk about this real quick. And if you have any questions, right, if you're tuning in, you got any questions from wherever, then just put them in, and I will kind of go accordingly back and forth from this little card right here. So the first step that you want to do to becoming a better and healthier reseller, okay? And let me preface this by resale is a lot of fun. Buying and reselling used goods is a whole lot of fun. Even if you go to like end caps at Targets or Walmarts, or you're doing closeouts, or, if you're even reselling new items, it's still fun to resell stuff and then check to see if you're getting cha-chings, if you're getting people coming to your door, if you're getting, money on your Amazon seller app. It's fun to see things grow, especially without like a boss hovering over you, or you being in a cubicle, or having to report to work for a 9 to 5. It's kind of a fun gig. Reselling is fun, but becoming a healthy reseller is something that's even more fun, right? Because reselling business can kind of go in so many different ways when you're not feeling so great, right? And if you're feeling really good about the whole thing, let's say you prioritize your health first and you start honoring yourself and like movement and these kind of things. Oftentimes what you're going to find is that your business will follow. The love you have with another partner will follow. Lots of things will follow. Perhaps spiritual fitness will follow. You get a lot more optimistic, right? And so I like to look at it like there are 1,000 different decisions that we make every single day, and each one kind of steers your ship in a certain way, right? So your ship is just going, and you can make 1,000 decisions. You start steering the ship this way, and it could be to an island that's not that great, or there's an island in that direction that's amazing, but it's going to take 1,000 great decisions to start steering the ship in that way. And so when we look at what really it comes down to, we can look at a Tony Robbins principle, take massive action. But I will go further and say, like, it's time to start looking at, number one, the tip is you want to formulate a plan, okay? So a plan is interesting because this is where it gets kind of custom. Not every single person has the same amount of time on their hands. Everyone's got some form of complication in their life, okay? So it can be family, it can be kids, it can be assets, it can be job, it can be, accelerated learning. Maybe you're going to school for something. Perhaps you're taking care of somebody. Everyone's got different kinds of time outlays, and like the time is all different for people, right? Some people extremely have like no time, right? And some people have some time. And then there's a lot of people that have done some smart things and have more time than others. But the first thing you want to do, the first tip, is you're going to want to formulate a plan, okay? A plan that fits you and something that you can commit to. So this plan, a really well-formulated plan, will hinge upon these kind of three things. And one is going to be the time that you have. Like, how much time do you really have to, uncover a new you or become a healthier reseller? And for most people that are just starting off, I would say that we need to be looking at about an hour, maybe an hour and a half a day. Now, that might sound like, oh, I don't have that, or that's a lot, but you can also break that up. You can do 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there, 30 minutes at the end. You can do 30 minutes of walking cardio and then like an hour workout at the gym. But about an hour and a half is kind of where you want to be most of the time. On slower days when you're not so feeling it, then maybe 30 minutes or an hour. But you do want to have about 4 days, if not 5 days, at an hour and a half, already committing to your plan. So you want to have some time. And like I said, like just shooting it out there, most people should give themselves about an hour and a half. Now, if you're wondering, where am I going to find that time? My life is complex. I got kids, I got soccer games, I got a house to take care of, I got a job to go to. And I will always tell people, like, if you don't think you have the time, then it's time to look at your app time on your phone, your time audit. Like, it's time to audit your own time and see where your time is going. If this means that you have to be smart about it, maybe build a garage gym or perhaps roll out a yoga mat and do some stuff there in the living room just to save from driving back and forth to a gym, like, so be it. But you definitely have to start doing a time audit and being honest with yourself, because most people in today's day and age, with how many reels and how many distracting things that are out there on our devices and everything, most people have time. All right. That's just kind of what I've seen with working with people. Just about everybody has time. Then the second thing that you want to consider is, how much money do you have to honor yourself? So this is a really important kind of question. If you want to be the best version of yourself, like, how much money could you commit every single month to that? Now, some people are thinking like, oh God, he's about to sell us something. And it's not true. But you need to start thinking about, the cost of certain foods. You have to think about, perhaps a gym membership. You got to be thinking about maybe a new pair of running shoes, perhaps a bicycle. So how much money do you have to commit towards making yourself a really, powerful reseller, basically? And that varies between people, right? But it can, if you even have $20, you can already at some places get a gym membership. With $20, you can, maybe buy a pair of thrifted shoes and start walking long distances. And I think that's really important when you're having a plan. Is like, okay, you got to have your time outlay that's specific to you, that you can commit to. Then you also have to have a money outlay of some sort that you're like, I'm willing to commit this much money, whatever it takes for me to get there. So the two most things that people spend money on, or I would say three things, when it comes to fitness in a given month. One will be a membership to something. It's a social kind of club, outlay, gym, whatever you want to call it. That'll be where some of the money goes. The second thing is going to be healthier foods and healthier eating, which is great because a lot of times healthier eating coincides with just not going out as much, right? Anytime that you go out or you're having festive times with all your friends and like family, and you're going to, all these places, and I don't even know where people go these days. Perhaps you go out once a week to dinner. Scaling something back oftentimes will give you more money in your pocket, so you can actually buy higher quality goods, which is more repeatable. Like, the more times you repeat higher quality goods, and I am going more towards, let's say, whole foods. That's my suggestion. Whole foods, things that you make yourself at home, and you try to get as close to grass-fed, wild-caught, organic as much as you can. Now, if you're thinking that stuff costs a lot of money, first of all, that stuff is the most powerful stuff out there. You could argue that it's, full of bioavailable minerals and nutrients, great stuff. It hasn't been tainted by all sorts of chemicals and pesticides, things that would disrupt your endocrine system or your testosterone, perhaps your estrogen. Superior foods have not just the cost associated to them. It's what your body does when superior foods are in it. Your body will also, not eat as much when you have superior foods in your body. It's a lot easier to feel full with, half a can of black beans and a couple of eggs, or maybe a third cup of black beans, some eggs, some salsa for breakfast. And quite honestly, that's a pretty solid breakfast if you ask me. A little half avocado on top, a couple strawberries, done. Like, that's a powerful breakfast right there. And it doesn't really cost that much, to be honest, if you're shopping at the right kind of places. So, when you're formulating a plan, you want to have a time outlay that you can commit to yourself. You want to have a money outlay that you can commit to yourself too. You can say like, oh, like, I commit to $400 or $600 a month to food, and I'm going to, get this food at farmers markets, natural grocers, Costco, places that have organic foods, things like that. And then another thing, when you formulate a plan to make it really powerful, kind of seal the deal that you're really going to do this, is you got to tell some other people. That's really important too. Like, to tell your closest people, your partner, your kiddos, tell your family, like, kind of sick of being the way I was, and this is not some cry for help or anything like that, but I'm going to treat this real seriously. And I would appreciate if you guys and gals like help me out, because this is where I want to go. And if you could prevent me, if you could not put some of that tempting stuff in front of my face, if you could just make sure that I stay on my kind of eating window if you have one. These things all kind of help. But if you keep it all to yourself and you just don't, explain to anybody what you're doing, then oftentimes all these stressors and these temptations will just come your way. And quite honestly, some of the worst people out there, friends included, or even perhaps maybe even your loved ones, family, will just not believe in your goal. Like, oh, don't do that, and that's stupid, and like, why would you do that? Oh, just this one chili, don't worry about it, it's not that bad. And before you know it, you're eating chili with sour cream and cheese on top, and it's like, if you feel forced and you feel like no one's close that's believing in you, these are just the wrong people to be around at the end of the day. You need to be around support people that want to see you become the best version of yourself. So proclaiming and telling others what your plan is going to be really important. Remember, if you're watching this right now and you have a comment, I don't care if it comes from Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, you can put the comment in and I'm going to air the comment more than likely. And it can be a question about something that you're seeing on this show right now. Okay, so if you have a question, I need you to stop me, and that way, if I need to extrapolate on something, I can do it for you. Now, the second tip I have to becoming a healthy reseller is to execute on your top movers. These are big levers where a majority of the ROI is going to happen. So remember earlier in this broadcast how I said, like, some people are going to like, oh, do I get blue light glasses? Do I get BPA-free plastics? Do I start taking creatine? Do I do, these are smaller moving kind of levers that you can do that kind of helps at the end, or maybe the mid journey, the intermediate journey. But when you're a beginner, you want to have a lot of replication and a lot of success with the big levers. It's really important. So what are some of these big levers? Well, I mean, the most important one is going to, obviously, if you live in the USA, it's going to be diet, right? That's a humongous mover that you can pull and start feeling better like immediately. I wouldn't say immediately, but like 3 or 4 days, perhaps a week later, you can really start to feel good with tuning your water and tuning your diet, okay? So if that means getting a Berkey filter, or perhaps you get a Mountain Valley subscription to their water thing, I don't know, like spring water, you want to at least curb your water, and you want to curb your foods like we talked about earlier. It's an enormous lever to pull. And when you're honestly pulling this lever, it's not really about let's open the fridge and throw all the bad crap away. It's more like, what's the good stuff, right? And let's put that in the fridge, and let's see how we feel on the good stuff for weeks on end. And before you know it, a couple things are going to change. Like, one of the things is going to be your taste buds are going to start to change. You'll know when you start getting around junk food, like how hijacked your system gets, for example. Like, I just had some junk food last weekend. And some of it was like, I don't know, it was like a Frito pie. I went to some monster truck thing with my girlfriend, and there was Frito pie with some brisket on top and some queso. And I'm eating this thing the whole time, and I'm like, this is just not healthy. This is terrible. Tastes decently good, but I've been eating so much healthy food that I'm like, God, I could like sense the BS from a mile away. The night before that, I had some queso with some chips, and then I had like 8 wings, buffalo style, at this one place. And I'm just like, dude, this is like now the second cheat day, and I did hollow out some time or some calories to do that meal, but still when I was eating it, I'm like, this is just not that good. Now, when I make my own foods, when I make my own, let's say, concoctions or my breakfasts and all that, it just tastes good. It's all, pasture-raised eggs, it's organic this, it's wild-caught that, it's grass-fed, fruits, and I mean, it's grass-fed beef, and like it's, organic fruits, and it's good stuff, right? And you feel good, and you can perform like a long time. Whereas when I was eating some of that other stuff, it's just feeling sluggish, stomach was rumbling. It's like my body was rejecting it almost immediately. So diet's a humongous lever. There is actually a comment right here that's a little bit in line with diet or what I just said, but it says, going to start creatine again. It helped a ton when I was 22. Do not know it's for more than muscle mass. Yeah, it's actually very, very good for your brain as well. In fact, a lot of podcasters use upwards of sometimes 15 or 20 grams before a podcast because it can really activate your brain. So that's another one that's pretty big, when you're doing, creatine it's really rich in certain things like sardines, steak, beef, things like that, naturally occurring, but most people are going to want to take about 5 grams a day as a maintenance kind of thing. And if you have to perform and pay attention for extended bouts of time, or perhaps you're on a podcast or you're getting interviewed for something or whatever, you might want to go up to like 10 or 15 for that day. Just something to consider. Another top mover. So obviously the big top mover is diet. It's a big one. They say calories in, calories out. I subscribe to that a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's more like, how does your body react to good calories and how does it react to bad calories? That's the way I look at it, because like a Pop-Tart is calories, right? But so is, two bananas and like an apple. So like you're going to feel different on 2 bananas and an apple versus like a Pop-Tart. And they might have the exact amount of calories. But your body's going to be more inflamed with one. It's probably going to feel more stressed, and it could be a little bit more cortisol involved. You could hold on some more body weight, water weight, when you do the actual Pop-Tart versus, potassium in the bananas and like all the good stuff. And then we have all the vitamin C from the strawberries. I mean, you can do some things with that in your system. So you definitely execute on some top movers. So like diet's really big. If you want to do intermittent fasting, that's another thing. I do it, but it's for some people and not for others, and there's some deep studies saying that intermittent fasting doesn't really belong with like majority of females. So like do your research, and if you want to try it out. There are also a lot of females that do intermittent fasting and they love it. The other big mover, the other big lever that you can pull is going to be sleep. Now this is a big one. And I don't know if you noticed the fact that I have a ring on my finger, and this ring is an Oura ring, and this ring helps me track my sleep, my readiness for the day, calories burned, step counts, stress levels, resting heart rate, HRV, like all kinds of stuff. And it also figures out my zone 2, zone 1, zone 3 cardio. So yeah, it's a kind of a cool thing. If you're really serious about taking your health to like the next dimension, I would get something that, is far past the eye health thing on your phone or whatever health thing you have on your phone, or maybe a Fitbit, and get into something like an Oura ring. So yeah, sleep is a really big deal. And a lot of times, unless you are in a sleep study or, you've got access to this kind of stuff, a lot of times some people are going to be looking into like certain Fitbits or the Oura ring to help you really figure out how much deep sleep you're getting, or REM sleep. Are you tossing and turning? All kinds of stuff. So like, I'll give you some context. I don't know if it was last night, but I had 6 hours and like 47 minutes of true sleep last night, right? But I was in bed for like 8 hours. So it meant that there was at least an hour and 13 minutes of just not being asleep, tossing and turning, maybe going up and go to the bathroom. Like there were some things. So like, if you're thinking like, oh, I'm getting 8 hours of sleep because I'm falling asleep, I'm going to bed at 10 and I'm going to wake up at, 6, and that's going to be 8 hours. It's actually untrue. You're probably closer to like 6 or maybe 6.5. And then there's the breakdown of like, well, how did that sleep go in the first place? And oftentimes sleep suffers with things like alcohol, stress, blue light, too much water in your system, not the right kind of temperature in your room, sheets that are abrasive, arguments that you have with your partner. There's so many things that really affect sleep that it's kind of like, if you're going to geek out about something that's a big mover, like sleep's this is probably the one that like super geek out on. That one, and diet is really important, because a good night rest is going to help you burn fat. It's going to definitely like wake you up in like not such a stressed fashion, but you need to have a really nice deep kind of rest. So another top lever that you can be pulling is obviously the workout lever, which we talked about earlier. Join a gym. If you need to get a personal trainer, get a personal trainer. There's a comment that just came in regarding diet. Let me just air this real quick. Have I tried Russian food yet? Yes, I have. My girlfriend has got Russian descent, and I've had borscht soup, which is amazing. I've had some of their breaded things. I forget what it's called. It's not burek, because that's Turkish, but I've had some of their breaded things. I've had the Russian soup, probably some other things. I just can't remember at this moment. But I remember borscht being my favorite one, which is like a beet. It's kind of like a war soup, really. It's a soup that was popular in war times, that they could use root vegetables for because it's really cold, and so they would oftentimes put like beets and potatoes and I want to say onions maybe, but the soup in and of itself was very pink and red looking, and then modern day people kind of like added the beef to it and all that, but it was a wartime soup and kind of like a poor soup, really, and if you look at the history of borscht. So It's really good though, and I really like it. And it takes like 8 hours to make, but my girlfriend's really good at making that. She'll make it about a couple times a year when it gets very cold. So let's talk about the lever of working out. Obviously it's a top mover, and working out is as simple as getting a gym membership and getting a workout plan that you find online, perhaps, and then executing that workout plan, over 6 to 8 weeks, whatever it takes, and then finding another workout plan and doing that. Which brings me to one of my things that I will let you guys know on a show next week. I'm going to have a link, and this link is going to be for my Radical Life 50-day program, right? And so we're going to be opening up the beta test of the Radical Life 50-day program. It's a 50-day kind of like change your life program. It's going to hinge on the 5 most amazing pillars that I subscribe to, my business partner, we subscribe to. And these pillars are cardio, it's going to be diet, sleep, working out, and mental fortitude. So these are the biggest levers ever. And there's a 50-day challenge that we have that I've already went through the fourth quarter of last year. Built it, everything, many PDFs, everything. There's going to be an exclusive group for it. And we're looking for 10 people to join. Not at this moment, but next week I'll have that link, and it's kind of like the first 10 people that sign up are going to be able to do the 50-day program. Now, I will urge that if you do see that link come up and you are interested in changing your life, that, it's a pretty time committing kind of, I wouldn't say pretty time committing, but it's going to be 4 workouts a week. There's definitely mental fortitude kind of stuff that is 4 times a week. There's 3 to 4 cardio sessions a week. There's going to be tracking your sleep. It's going to be a lot of stuff. So, if you want to turn it up on the right page, the Radical Life 50-day program is going to be available very soon in beta test, not officially for the public, but we're looking for 10 people to beta test it and to have some fun with it. So that'll be next week when I have that link. But yeah, I just want to turn you guys up on that. Another lever that you can pull, it's not a top mover, but I think it is a top mover. I put it here because it's something that anybody can gamify and anybody can start looking at, like literally today. And that is your step count, right? So your step count, if you have an iPhone, it's as simple as iHealth. You can figure out your step count, really awesome. So it looks something like this right here. Now I have my iHealth paired up with my Aura ring. So if I'm not having my phone around me and I have my Aura on my finger, then they're both tracking steps and all that kind of stuff. Today, for example, I'm at 9,000 steps, which is not too bad. I'll probably finish that at 10. But more importantly is my average for the past 7 days. I always want to see that number being like higher than 10, or I want to see that number being 10K or higher, should I say. Well, I guess that's what it meant, the same thing. So that's really important. In 2025, like my average step count was probably in the 83s or something like that. And now my step count trending this year is somewhere in this like 10,400. And yeah, I can have a day at 9,000 or 9,500, and then I'll have 2 or 3 big hikes this week where I go exploring in the forest and, foraging for mushrooms, and I look for old relics, and I look for all kinds of stuff. Maybe I have my metal detector with me. And I go out with my dog and we go rock hounding, and you just spend all this time out there having the greatest time, and then you're just stacking steps. So that's something that anybody can start doing, is counting your steps. And I do think that 10K is pretty much where most people need to be baseline, so that's something that you can aim for as long as your phone's in your pocket. It'll be recording it. And if you're like, oh, I don't have my phone on me all the time, you might want to consider getting an Aura ring. I'm actually working on getting an affiliate ambassador discount with this company. I don't know if I'll pass the criteria or whatever, but I applied the other day because I like it that much. And I'm not willing to build one myself or anything like that. Like, I'm just going to affiliate the best thing out there anyway. Like, there's no way I can build anything better than this thing right here and the app that's right behind it. It's impossible. So, yeah, why not be an affiliate for something that I truly believe in? So, yeah, that's a big mover right there. If you have any questions, put it in the comments. I'm going to go to tip number 3, which is you want to evaluate, if not every Monday, your progress at least every 4 weeks. And you want to use kind of like the same metrics. So you want to approach your evaluation day with the same kind of protocol. So I don't have evaluation days lined up for me at this moment, but when I start trending downward in body fat, and like maybe I have a photo shoot coming up or something I'm really working towards, I will start to weigh in every Monday morning, Monday morning with the same exact like protocol, which is like Monday morning after I went to the bathroom, go to the gym and, get on the little in-body scale that really kind of like just throws electricity through your body, and it tells you your um, intracellular, extracellular water weight. It tells you, BMI, like your fat, everything. So you want to approach it with the same kind of like protocol every single time. I don't want to come in at like a Thursday evening after having like, one cheat meal in the week and like all this stuff, and like, you want to come in on a day where you just have a good baseline so you can get some good data, because data is really what you're looking for at the end of the day. I mean, that's why I have this thing right here, is data. Like, I want data because I can't do anything if I don't have data. Now, data also is just like the way you feel in the day and the way you look, if you look different and friends are like, dude, like, what are you doing? And like, oh my gosh, girl, you're losing weight. Like, what kind of plan are you on? That's great data. You can look at data as like the amount of compliments that you're getting from people. That's also data right there. But you do want to have some sort of like metric or data. So this can be as simple as like weighing yourself on your scale and taking a picture. Could be as simple as weighing yourself on a scale, taking a picture, and then having your loved one doing like a caliper test. You can learn on YouTube how to do this, a body fat caliper test. The calipers are like $15 on Amazon. And then you can basically have a good estimation of like your body fat without paying for a DEXA scan or, an in-body machine or something like that. Just something to consider if you're if you want that kind of data. And then if you're gonna do it every 4 weeks, obviously do every Monday. That's what I said. And then if you, if you do it every 4 weeks, then do it on a Monday. But if you choose to do it every week and you want to get data quicker, then, just do it every Monday. So yeah, anyway, I think I repeated myself on that. All right, so tip number 4 is you definitely want to use the tools at hand to help you succeed, right? And the number one tool that's probably at hand, besides your iPhone, your iHealth thing, you can start walking today, whatever, is, you probably want a gym. Like, you probably want to be in a gym. And I know some people are like, I don't want to be around gyms. They're kind of intimidating. And I don't know what to do when I'm in a gym. Like, okay, it's not that difficult. Stop telling yourself those excuses because when you get into a gym, everyone's kind of like on a mission to just be better. Okay, so like, you either want to be around those people or you don't, right? And those people are actually super cool, helping you out. Not to mention, you're probably going to make more friends, which everybody, has a better time in life with more friends. And then you just, I don't know, you get into a gym. Maybe you don't want to work out. You go to a gym, everyone's working out and like pushing things, and like there's a lot of, wow factor, and things are on the speakers and everything. And it's just like, I think I need to get stuff done here. Like you get like that, as opposed to like staying home. You're like, I don't feel like working out. You sit in your chair. Before you know it, an hour of reels have gone by, and you're feeling twice as bad about yourself as you were an hour before. So, the gym, even for its placebo effect, which is just like go to a gym and you're probably going to start moving just because you're at a gym, is a humongous thing, right? The second thing is, there are plenty of workouts online. There are workouts every single place online. Look around, YouTube, so many free workouts. And then obviously another tool that you can pull that you need to be using is probably ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT is really good. I have a paid version of actual ChatGPT, and it's something great to just speak into, like, 12 o'clock during the day. Hey, chat, like, this is what my breakfast was. I had 5 pasture-raised eggs. I had sauteed spinach. I had some Parmesan shavings in there, 2 strawberries, 3 Brazil nuts, third can of black beans, topped it off with some HEB picante sauce. Then I had 2 scoops of Truvani protein with a banana, with a cup of frozen mangoes. And that was my first true meal of the day. Remember, sounds like a lot of food, I know, but I'm actually also intermittent fasting, which means my eating window is a lot tighter. I run that into chat, how am I doing for the day? Boom. All the macros spit out, estimated macros, good enough, right? It's data. And then I don't have to sit there and log in every stupid thing on like MyFitnessPal or anything stupid like that. It just shows me where I am. And it's like, okay, is this one of your training days or not a training day? I'm like, yeah, I did train today, but I aim to do an hour of cardio later. How am I doing, with that in respect? Boom, boom, boom. Data comes down. Chat's like, I would probably go banana deep before your ride if it's going to be a longer ride. If not, then make sure you replenish this way after your ride. And then for your dinner, you probably want it to lay it out like something like that. So anyway, ChatGPT is really good. I like it a lot. But chat is only as good as the data you give chat, right? So if you're lying to chat and you're being stupid, then chat is going to be stupid and lying back to you too. Like, so you have to be really, really frank with chat. You can also upload pictures to ChatGPT. Start assessing things and like For me, for example, if I upload a picture and I'm like, oh, I feel pretty lean, and then I upload it to chat will be like, all right, this is estimated how much body fat I think you are based upon, I can see some striations in your abdominal muscles, blah, blah, blah. This puts you at like a body fat of estimated like, I don't know, 10 to 14%. You're doing really good, keep at it, whatever. So something to consider. The tools are out there, gyms, online workouts, ChatGPT, stuff works really well. Obviously, later on in the year, probably 3 months from now, going to have a Radical Life private group open up. Also going to have that Radical 50 program opening up. So, if you want to join it on my side, I will definitely help you out. I'll definitely help anybody that's on that side out. Let me check my Instagram feed real quick. I think we're doing pretty good here. If there are any, let me see, I got to sell a bike pretty soon, like 20 minutes from now, maybe 25. So I got to get off this in about 20 minutes. I want to get to my 5th tip, which is, and I'm going to open it up for questions and answers and all that kind of stuff in about 2 minutes. So then my 5th tip is take pictures. All right. So take pictures so you can see the progress. And I echoed on this earlier, but note the compliments that you're getting from other people. This is important because when you're doing good things, compliments start to come. And the more compliments that come, you can kind of look at it as maybe today you had 1 compliment, maybe tomorrow you had 2. And then one day, you have 5. And then it's everyone's noticing that you're doing something good. So compliments are kind of good. Even if you want to put them as a dot on a calendar, it's not I don't know. It's not what you should be seeking, but it's just a byproduct of doing good things. People that are inspired will compliment others, or people that feel, or if you are an inspiring person, you're probably going to get compliments because there's so many people in the world that aren't willing to do the right kind of things and pull any of these levers. So that way, when you start doing it, it just seems how'd you do it? You look great. I've never seen a push-up done that way. That's awesome. Why do you do it that way? These are all great things to get as a byproduct of effort, which is also a byproduct of taking massive action. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't rate yourself based on comments. But I think comments are a great thing, or compliments are a great thing to note that you're heading in the right direction, right? So those are my 5 tips for now. Remember, in the early part of this video, I said that this is a really big topic, and it's impossible to conquer in 1 video. It's impossible. I couldn't even conquer it in 10 videos. It's so big. But hopefully in this, in the little tutorial here, to formulate a plan, how to execute on some top levers, how to evaluate, maybe weekly or every 4 weeks, what tools to use that are out there that really help people succeed. And then, to start taking pictures too, and be cognizant of compliments when they come your way. I want to turn it over to Q&A. So if someone has a question regarding something, it could be anything. It could be fitness. It could be supplements. It could be, how much water should I take in a day? It could be anything. Just let me know, and I'll try to help you out as best as I can. But at the end of the day, it's not that this stuff is hard, but I can see that it can be extremely difficult for somebody that does not understand the levers to pull. I can see how it can be extremely difficult for somebody that maybe has friends and family that just aren't doing great things with their lives. And so you feel like you're just the average of them, right? And that's another thing, when you start joining these powerful places like gyms, or perhaps you go to seminars to boost your eBay or whatever, you get around people that are committing time and money to something, right? And so you get around a whole different energy. And that's the thing with a gym. When someone's like, well, can I work out at home? And will I see results if I do it at home? I'm like, God, you could, but how disciplined are you already? You're probably not very disciplined if you're here and you're not feeling good about yourself. It means that you're not disciplined. So you do need to start going into some of these places and committing time, committing money, getting to a gym, executing a workout. It's going to feel weird for a while. You might have pain for a week or 2, but then you're going to get stronger, and then you're going to meet people and then you're going to be able to do treadmill stuff. You're going to be able to go on hikes, and things are going to start to change. Your body will ache in different ways, but some of these other things that are hurting you, maybe you have knee problems, maybe you have like a shoulder problem, wrist problem, maybe you have this or that, I don't know, but some of these things start to go away, because we're opening up cavities and inducing ranges of motion, and blood flow starts going places where it hasn't gone before, so it just starts to heal things. But yeah, they always say, like, when you go into a gym, you start doing a whole lot of gym, you start committing yourself to the gym, you start just getting uh, just tight and chronic pain. So like, gym is great, but undoing some of the gym stuff is kind of great too, which is like retaining flexibility and ROM, range of motion, drinking enough water, like how to work out in extremely hot weather and how to work out in extremely cold weather. These are all things that require completely different inputs and completely different maybe supplements or water quality or electrolytes. There's a lot of things to do when you start getting really into fitness. It's a lot of fun. But I think the flip side of, let's say, not subscribing to any fitness at all, I think that's very dark. It's dismal. I think it's irresponsible. I think it's, there are a lot of people that probably depend on you. So if you are, like, let's say, overweight or not strong or joint pains, and you can't do much, and you're just kind of giving up on yourself slowly, realize there are other people that that want to see you do well. There are people that depend on you. You might have children, for example, and they want an active father or mother. They want someone that can, like, take them places and show them the world. And I think it's really important to be that. And in order to be that, you have to be responsible with, like, your life. And I always tell people that it's not worth really chasing, like, the money bug. And the way we chase the money bug is keeping up with the Joneses. We start getting loans we don't really care for, start getting assets we really didn't want in the first place. So, when it comes down to it, like, try to live a little simpler and then honor yourself more. Like, see if you can get to that hour or hour and a half a day of fitness and moving around. And then see how you think 6 months later, and how you view life. Is your life more viewed towards Kardashian stuff and, like, going to, like, Texas Roadhouse, or is it more like, oh, well, maybe I'm going to get the Oura Ring. Maybe I'm going to go get those Solomon trail running shoes and start hiking more. The decisions start to become different, when you go down this path of responsibility. And I think it's a path that's interesting in the sense that it doesn't really get very materialistic, if I want to say. Like, most of the people that I know that are in very good shape aren't extremely materialistic. They're more experience driven people, right? They're like, oh, I can do these great things, and, like, I'm mobile and I feel good. Like, what can I do? So, you see people doing all kinds of 5K, 10K, marathons, Ironmans. Like, I got friends that are climbing some of the 7 tallest peaks in the world. And it's just interesting to see what you can do once you honor yourself. Because we all know what you can do if you don't do that, right? It's just like level 1 behavior of sitting on a couch, just randomly scrolling reels, maybe making reels, absence of actual sunlight in your life, like bad ingredients. You feel sluggish. You don't want to do anything, but it's like, oh, but it doesn't matter. Like Stranger Things season 5, so we can go binge this tonight. It becomes a circular kind of, like, level 1 behavior if you're a human being. And it's like, I would say that there are probably 10 levels to this whole thing. And that 10th level is just, it's like, what can't I do? Like, this is amazing. And can I create this crazy big business? Can I do, that's probably closer to level 8, 9, and 10, it's where it's like you're surrounding yourself with only the most powerful foods, the most powerful the most powerful choices. You've taken really bad people out of your life, and you're really just firing on all cylinders. So there's a lot of levels to this. And I just want the show to, like, be of value in the sense that it should stress people to take action. It really should. I'm not trying to scare people. I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm so much better than you. But I am trying to paint the picture of, like, nothing's ever going to change at all if you don't start to change it, right? Nothing. We have some comments here. I've just joined where you're talking about ChatGPT and body fat. It's a great tip. I've been doing it. If you give it your height and weight, it does give you a good body composition breakdown. You're totally right. And then, yeah, so it's the same comment right there. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I like ChatGPT. It's pretty cool. And I've been using it for a while, so much so that I actually, have paid ChatGPT now. I think normal ChatGPT can do that, but paid is just, I don't know. I think it runs through so many more queries in billions of queries, that's kind of what you're paying for is speed. And, there's all kinds of graphic benefits to ChatGPT too. So like me being a content creator, I can create graphics. Like Garage Sale Goldmine, for example, was a ChatGPT like organized graphic that took me, an hour to make because it was like a million times back and forth with chat. But, it spat me out a really good graphic, which is cool. And I got to control the entire process, which was a lot of fun too. So yeah, chat's a really good kind of tool. There's another one called Gemini, and some other ones, Sora, like whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like as long as you get some sort of AI that can like really, really, really rip through information real fast and give you like decisive, actionable steps, I think it's really good. Couple more questions, and I got to get out of here because I'm going to sell a bike soon. What's this bike? It is a $100 bike that listed for $450 yesterday, and I think someone's going to come with $400 cash today. So that's what I'm going to sell soon. And I have to get off this show, but it'll make it on the next vlog. There should be a vlog, by the way, that dropped today, like 3 minutes ago. So once you get off this show, go enjoy the vlog on the Bonafide Hustler channel. It's pretty cool. I found some good things on that vlog. Sold something really cool too that I won't spoil it, but has to do with stools. Let's put it that way. So you can go check that out. If you have a question about anything that you've heard so far, or maybe you just want some insight, put it in real quick. I'll be here for about 5 more minutes, and you can let me know. While I'm doing this, it's crazy. Like, I'm so addicted to this, but I'm like scrolling Facebook Marketplace and looking for deals, see if I can pounce on something before my girlfriend gets home. This is just, it's the way of being a reseller. These are just the tools at hand, right? It's kind of like fitness. It's like fitness is a lot easier when you use the tools properly. Like, reselling is a lot easier if you use the tools properly and you know how to do things. But if you don't use them at all and you sit there like, I'm not making any money, the tools are there. I'm sorry. Like, you just have to like be able to get into it. I had a comment about 2 months ago saying, because they were watching my vlog and there was like, there's no way that I could check Facebook Marketplace repeatedly during the day. And I'm like, I'm not asking you to. I'm just saying this is what I do, right? This is what I do in every stoplight. Like, if I'm walking to a Goodwill and I park my car, like I'll be walking with Facebook Marketplace and I'll just look, because the best deals, they fade in seconds, if not minutes. So there's some people that are just like, I don't know, it's like they're casting out their fears my way in a form of a comment. And it's hilarious, actually. It's like, I could never do that. I'm like, that's cool. Like, go reselling your own direction. I don't care. I'm just showing you guys what I do. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to waste, 40 to 60 hours a week doing this. I don't say waste is a bad word, but it's like I don't want to commit that when I have other things I want to build in the background. So I'm trying to use the tools at hand to make me more efficient. So it's no different than like ChatGPT. You're going to a gym. You go to a gym, it's just more efficient. You go at home, you're like, what should I do? And like, I don't even have this to do that exercise. And like, you got to, try to hunt down like the right weight and the right bands. And you're like, dude, you go to the gym, it's all right there. It's all ready to go. So, like, why complicate it? And you get around good people. Bearded Picker, what's up, legend? Not much, man. Just doing all right. Just chilling and making content. And met up with my business partner the other day, and we're going to be opening up Radical Life beta testing, I think February 1st, But next week I'll have the link. So if you're interested in being in the 10 slots of the Radical Life 50-day program, then I'll have that link next week on a health-related kind of show, or maybe just a flip-related show. And first 10, we're going to grant you into the beta test. And if you complete the 50-day challenge, okay, then my business partner and I think we're discussing the possibility of granting those people lifetime memberships into actual Radical Life, which is like the green. If you think about the green room being like a reselling group back in the day that we did really well at, well, the Radical Life's more like a fitness-based lifestyle. Like, everything is going to go in there, and it's going to be that side of the whole thing. So, yeah, it's going to be a paid group, but we're discussing the chances of putting the beta testing people into the Radical Life group forever for free. Yeah, so if you're into the beta, then there's probably some great things, but you have to complete the 50-day program first. And without giving up too much details about what that 50-day program is, just wait till the next show, and I'll have a link and I'll have a little bit more explanation about it, so you can figure out if it's kind of for you, But it's yeah, I have to build some things this week to put into that Facebook group in the file section, so that way people know exactly what to do once they get there. And yeah, we're like one guide away from like opening up that group to the beta people. So we'll see. I think that's pretty much the show. I guess I'll see you guys on the comment section and things like that. I thank you for coming here. And if you like this and you see it later, then put a comment. If you have some positive feedback, let me know. If you have some negative feedback, let me know. If you got some constructive criticism, let me know. I would love to read it. Okay. And I always want to aspire to be a better lifestyle trainer in general. So I will look at all the comments and just let me know just let me know which other thoughts. I'll see you on next show. We're going to have a live show next week, which is going to be a little bit more health related as well. And then from that show, we should have the link to the beta, Radical 50 program, and should have 10 slots open. So